My soul bows to you. Namaskar. Namaskar everyone, and welcome to day 8 of our 21-day meditation series. We've started a new week, and I'd like to take time to put the last week in perspective. This is a step-by-step journey of learning how to become more conscious of all that you are, how to connect with the energies of every level of being, and to channel from there into the human experience, and to live masterfully and in balance, in a harmonious relationship with the world around you. And that is being well. Let's put the last week in perspective. We began by looking at the key elements of a meditation practice. Each time you sit to meditate, you should stay aware of the key elements of a meditation practice. Coming into the present moment, giving attention to the mental space, clearing the mind of thoughts you do not need. Every thought is an expression of energy. So you need to be careful with every thought that you generate in the mental space. Learning to witness every aspect of the human experience from that place of peaceful being in the mind, expansive mind. Then engaging the breath in a masterful way, keeping spinal column awareness, and learning how to use the meditative breath, which we call the Ujjayi breath. Which makes you more conscious of your energies at every level, and which is able to help you, or which helps you to come more into balance at every level. And then always closing your meditation with a harmonious relationship with the elements of nature and with the living world around you. And then in the last week I spoke about the consciousness experience. This is extremely important in meditation, because in meditation we strive to be more and more conscious of self, the depth of self, the nature of self. Because the deeper we go into self, the more awareness we have of self. The more aware we become of our power and possibility. So we need more consciousness. So it's important to observe that consciousness experience as we give attention to every level of being. Then I spoke about how important it is to manage the mind. No easy task, but can be done. We need to learn to manage the thoughts in the mind, because every thought is an expression of energy. So a scattered mind is scattered energies in the mind. A managed mind is an energized mind. And then we went into the power of intention and attention. How important it is to stay attentive to whatever you're focused on. Because when you hold that object of attention, in your mental space, you are energizing it with your mental focus. And by channeling energies to that, using the mind, through your thoughts and intentions, you bring power. You energize whatever you're focused on. So in terms of well-being, it's important to hold all of you in the mental space and energizing all of you from there, using the power of the breath. And then we went into multidimensional awareness, which is tremendously exciting because we are not just mental. We should not just be focused on thoughts in the mind. We have the consciousness of space and communication. We have the consciousness of feeling, touching. We have the consciousness of a vital core in the body, a fiery core in the body. We have the consciousness of sexuality, reproductive power in the body. We have the consciousness of the physicality. And so we use the chakra model of the subtle body, or the subtle energy centers model of the subtle body, to focus on a multidimensional awareness. And then yesterday, I went into the subtle energy anatomy. Tremendously exciting. And more has to be said about this. That in the subtle space of being, we have the power that powers up the senses. The hearing, the touching, the seeing, the tasting, the smelling. It's in the subtle field that we have the powers to sense. The sense organs are in the body, but the power of the senses in your subtle body. So we went into subtle energy anatomy to look at the relationship we have with the elements of nature through the subtle body and the power of the senses in the subtle body, and to build consciousness around that. So we did a lot in the first week, and we want to consolidate that in our practice. We want to really be able to use all of these elements in the practice. So today we are going to fine-tune that practice, and we're going to open up the consciousness to that practice. It's extremely important that you practice, because as you practice, you're able to go deeper into the consciousness experience, deeper into the management of the mind, deeper into multidimensional awareness, and deeper into creating balance at every level. So we need the practice. And I've also asked you to journal, make notes on the practice, that you can look at your progress from day to day. And you can stay focused on the things that you need to strengthen in your practice. So join me in today's practice as we put all that we have learned in the first 7 days into perspective in our practice. And as we learn to strengthen our practice. So let's go into the meditation today. Sit in a posture that is comfortable, that you can hold throughout your meditation. Ensure that the body is completely relaxed in that posture and not stressed in any way. Spinal column straight, head facing forward, chin parallel to the floor. And let's use the power of attention to be completely body aware. Be aware of your body's posture. Be aware of the physical experience of the human body. It's exciting when you can. From that space of consciousness, pure consciousness, be aware of the totality of the human experience. You will notice, if you haven't yet, that the body is warm. Heat is produced in the cells. Lungs are breathing, observe. Heart is beating. Nerve cells are firing, allowing you to communicate with every part of your body and to receive information from every part of your body. Now, the mental space in the consciousness is the most important. So clear the mind of thoughts you don't need. Give attention to the silence of that space, a fundamental practice, and bring your attention fully into the present moment. This is the mental domain. Keep the mind open and intuitive. Open to receive guidance. Open to observe all that is happening in the consciousness experience. Now, to go deeper into the energy of the mind and the focusing power of the mind, give attention to that point at the center of the eyebrows. And attention to the medulla point at the back of the neck. And breathe using the Ujjayi. When you breathe out completely, you can breathe in deeply. Keep a rhythmic breath. Learn how to breathe rhythmically and gently with focus. Listen to the sound of the breath. And when you breathe out completely. So you should feel that your entire spinal column comes into your awareness. As you breathe down, contract, breathe out, contracting the chest as you breathe out, and the belly. And going right down to connect with the perineum area as you breathe out completely. Grounding up to the earth. And as you breathe in, hold that perineum area firm. Breathe into the belly. Open up the chest. Lift the shoulders gently, and you breathe in fully, whilst you're keeping that focus at the center of the eyebrows and medulla point at the back of the neck. So you're keeping a spinal column awareness at the same time, whilst you're centered in the brain, that you may have an effective breathing practice. Stay conscious, stay in the experience. A lot is happening on the inside. You're grounding in the earth energy. You're developing a powerful relationship with the breath. Gentle, rhythmical, and you are focusing the mind. So here you are energizing brain cells powerfully. Sharpen this practice. Spinal column awareness, root grounding in the perineum area, and mental grounding at the center of the eyebrows, masterfully using the breath. Remember, when you push the breath out, breathing down the spinal column, you are able to breathe in deeply And stay grounded in the root area. Don't lose that grounding with your feet and the ground. And the pelvic floor. Do not lose that grounding power. Keep the mental space clear. Stay in present moment awareness and look at how energy is generated in your space. Mental energy. Physical grounding. So the goal should be always to strive to stay completely conscious of the experience and open to more consciousness. Observing everything in an expansive space. In every meditation session, this is how you mentally ground. And hold the body completely in your attention, that the entire body may be energized by the prana of the mind and of the breath. Now let's go to throat consciousness. Here we're coming into the subtle energy anatomy. Throat consciousness, and that's the consciousness of space and the sense of hearing. So as you focus on breathing into the throat now, and then to the back of the neck and third eye. So you're keeping a throat awareness as you breathe out and breathe in. Still breathing out fully down the spine and in fully up the spine. Throat awareness gives the awareness of limitless space in your being. And it sharpens the listening. So we focus on the power of listening. Listening to the inner space. And it brings more silence to the mind, expansivity to the mind, a greater intuitive response, and an open space of communication. With the all of you and the space around you. And now let's go down to the chest area, opening up to the sense of touch and the element of air. So breathe into the center of the chest, opening up the lungs to breathe. Focusing on the energy of touch in an expansive space, in a silent mind, in a focused mind, and just observe what happens energetically as you ground into that chest center. It is the emotional center. So you want to give attention to your emotional being, and you want to unburden the emotional being, so you come into the awareness of loving being. Your deeper nature is love. Unconditional love. Open up your consciousness to unconditional loving, just loving being. No judgment. And hold your entire being in that loving space. The throat consciousness brings expansivity. The heart consciousness brings loving being. The brow consciousness brings silent mind, present moment mind, expansive mind. So observe how these three energy levels of throat, mind, and heart open up your consciousness powerfully to your subtle world. This is a beyond human world that you are tapping into. Allow yourself to embrace the deeper experience of the subtle world. The feeling of lightness, spaciousness, for some of you, you may feel the tightening in the chest, but breathe into it and breathe out everything that limits emotionally. Letting go, be free. Forgive, bless, and stay centered in an unconditional loving. That's how you unburden the chest area. And then more prana will flow. And now let's go down to the body. In the energetic anatomy, you come to this navel area, and here you come into a powerful consciousness of the vital core of the body. So breathe out completely, contracting the navel area. Breathe in deeply, expanding the navel area. And to do that effectively, go right down and hold the perineum area firmly in your consciousness and in your physical hold. Contract the area and then breathe in fully into the belly. As you breathe onto the root, contract the perineum that you may bring consciousness there, and breathe in fully into the belly. And then into the upper area. Observe what happens when you do this. You begin to feel that there is more recharging in the body. The nervous system of the gut is getting a powerful recharge. These cells are being recharged with the prana. Prana has the power to recharge the vital core of your body. So the belly consciousness sharpens the sense of sight. Belly is connected to fire and light, radiance, and seeing. There is seeing with the mind, that's intuitive seeing, and there is seeing in the body, by the senses of the body. The belly influences the sense of seeing in the body. And the root center, when you hold there firmly, it influences the sense of smell and connects you to the earth. And let's give a little attention to the sacral chakra. By breathing into it, opening up the belly, centering in the energy of the chest and the brow, you open up this sacral energies to the fire power, the heart power, and the brow power. Full belly breathing. So you should be conscious now of every level of being. There should be a deep experience of multidimensionality. Learn to fine-tune that. Look for the spaces where you can energize more. Instinctively, intuitively look. Now the goal is total well-being, so observe if you feel this wellness at every level. Do you feel an energized mind? A spacious consciousness, a loving heart, a fiery core, a grounding consciousness in the body, and the vitality of the sacral chakra, energizing all of you. Observe. That is the consciousness of total well-being. A balance in the energies at every level. So the goal is not to leave out any level of being. So as you observe the entire experience, observe how consciousness is the most important, an expansive awareness in which you can see or perceive every level of being. Observe how powerful the mind is in terms of focusing power and in terms of intelligence. Observe the space in which you're experiencing everything. Observe the emotional energy within your being and the emotional consciousness, and observe how unburdened you are and how energized you are. And there you can see how much work you've done and how much more there might be to do. Take a note of that, and then come down to the belly area, the area of the firepower. Observe how you feel in the vital core of your body, energized for a new day, or you have room for improvement there. Observe. Observe how grounded you are at the root, that you feel firm in your body, strong in your posture, strong in your belly breathing. And observe whether you bring that sacral power into your awareness. Observe whether you have sharpened the powers of the senses. Heighten the sense of smell as you root at the earth, the sense of taste at the sacral, the sense of seeing at the navel, the sense of touch at the heart, the sense of hearing at the throat. Observe whether you have sharpened the awareness of your senses in the subtle space. The power of the senses are in the subtle space. The sense organs are in the body. Now let's come into perspective. You are a subtle energy being, not physical, a subtle energy being. That's your immortal being, centered in a source of infinite consciousness. This is how you want to stay throughout your day. An immortal being, subtle energy being, centered in a field of infinite consciousness. The mind is in my subtle body. The emotional being is in my subtle body. The vital core is in my subtle body. The rooting power to ground in the body is in my subtle body. The pranic powers are in my subtle body. And my subtle body is having a human experience in the physical body. Physical body is a gift of nature. You came into the body. It's a gift of nature. You want to feel the blessing of having this body. So this is the meditative perspective. Now let's look ahead to a new day with this perspective. And let's use the power of affirmation to create a very strong intention in our consciousness to stay in this awareness throughout the day. I center my consciousness in the source of my being. That source of infinite being within me. That source of infinite love, peace, goodness, wisdom, and vitality. I stay centered in conscious being. That my every thought in this day, my every word, my every action be a blessing to my world. My intention is to be a source of light to my world. I give thanks for all the blessings I have received. And I pray to continue to be worthy. Om. Peace. 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 So we've come to the end of day 8. And I hope that the perspective that we have created of the last week is now strengthened within you, that you can see the human experience differently, with more consciousness and more aware of your subtle energy being. You're driving this human experience from a subtle energy being. And the more you build consciousness around that, the more masterful you will feel from that subtle space. So we need not just to be aware of the subtle space of mind and emotions and intentions and vitality, but we need to be able to manage the energies in the subtle space. And so it's important to go into a deeper experience in all of these energy centers if you want to master the energies in that subtle space. So in this week, we're going to speak about mastering the energies in that subtle space. And we're going to use a key element of that experience, which is the breath. Pranayama experience. So here, intention is going to be important, attention is going to be important, pranayama is going to become important, and centering in these chakras are going to become important. But throughout all of this, I'm going to continue to show you the connection to well-being. Because the goal is not only just to open the consciousness, but to be and stay well continuously throughout the human experience. That's the goal. The goal is to enjoy the human experience fully and masterfully. That's the goal. Not to negate the human experience, not to neglect it, but to completely enjoy it for what it's meant to be. The human experience is meant for growing in the consciousness and for living harmoniously with all of life. That's the vision of a better world. Not a vision of staying away, isolation. It's a vision of integration. So I'm very happy that you're participating in this series. Again, I want to urge you to write your journal. I make notes every day as I create this. Write your journal, write your important points. I do that continuously. It's like crafting these sessions. I love doing that. That's a passion of mine. So if you make a journal, you will enjoy creating your own structure of the things that you are experiencing, of the highlights of your journey, the things that you're learning, the insights that you're getting, the things you want to remember, making notes of the weaknesses that you see that you want to strengthen. That is the best way to really observe your progress and to manage it. Keep a journal. So I'm going to end my session here today with the excitement of tomorrow, of mastering the energies in the consciousness. Have a blessed day, everyone. My soul bows to you. Namaskar.